Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the Infinite Baffle channel. My name is Niall and today I'm very excited to be bringing you a video covering one of the most unique and exciting amplifiers on the marketplace at the moment. It's the HiFi Rose RA280. You can see the unit just over my shoulder here. It's one that I've been looking to get my hands on for quite some time, so very excited to be bringing you this video. If you do enjoy it, as always, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more hi-fi content coming in the future. Your guys' support on last week's video on the brand new Wolfdale Evo 5.2s was incredible. We got over 100 likes on that video. If we can get anywhere even close to that on this one, I would be forever grateful. Again, it's your guys' support that allows us to do the content like this, looking at exciting products in the hi-fi sphere, and yeah, just without you guys that wouldn't be possible. So do make sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up on the video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. HiFi Rose are a manufacturer that comes from South Korea, and I think it's fair to say that the way they design their units is just, it's remarkable. I mean, the 280 that I've got next to me here, compared to its bigger brother, is actually a little bit tame. The 180 looks like something out of an alien cyberpunk spaceship, to be honest with you. The 280 here, a little bit toned down compared to that, but even still, when you compare that to some of the more standard amplifiers that you see in the marketplace, this is still a very out there cool design. What's interesting as well about HiFi Rose is that they're often associated with operating at the higher end of the market. So this unit here, coming in at just shy of £3,000, is actually their entry-level integrated amp. Now, obviously £3,000 for an integrated amp is a lot of money, but because of the higher end that they do operate in, you do see a lot of that technology trickling down into the 280, which actually for some people might say makes this very good value, because some of the performance that you get from it, which we'll touch upon a little bit later in the video, at £3,000 is utterly brilliant. The unit itself is manufactured out of a combination of aluminium and rust-proof steel, and as a whole you can just see that build quality is something that they clearly take incredibly seriously. This is really a unit to be proud of. The build quality is exceptional, and again, touching upon the design of it, it's just so out there. I love this big clunky input selector. It's got a nice weight to it. It clicks into place. It just feels nice to use. But without doubt, my favourite feature are these two VU meters on the front here. I mean, people love the VU meters at the best of times. They give you a real analog feel, a real throwback, really old school. But the way these little ones are fitted in behind the little circular pane of glass, I mean, it looks like something out of a fighter pilot's cockpit. It is absolutely sensational. The 280, like most of the HiFi Rose range, if not all of it, comes in either a black or silver casing. We're joined here by the black one, but both of them look absolutely stunning. It's worth noting though that despite these unique, quirky, wacky design of the 280, at the heart of it, it's a very simple unit. I mean, you've got your input selector, you've got your very basic tone controls for the bass and treble, and a big fat volume pot. Nothing else on there at all. Very stripped back and easy to use. That stripped back simplistic theme continues with the remote control that's included with the 280, which I don't think I've ever seen a remote control with as few inputs and buttons on, to be honest with you. But again, really simple and does the job. The whole unit just has a really old school analog design to it. And without doubt, this is an analog centric unit, but also has so much to offer elsewhere, because I mean, looking a bit more at the actual internals of the amplifier, it offers 250 watts of power per channel. And what is really interesting is that the power that it provides is actually classed by HiFi Rose as being AD. Now, AD isn't something that technically exists in terms of the power you can get from an amplifier. Yes, you can get Class A, yes, you can get Class D, but AD isn't something that really actually exists. But what HiFi Rose are trying to say is that although it is technically a Class D unit, the way that it's been fine-tuned and put together is that it gives you a Class A sound with the reliability and the smooth power source that you get from a Class D. So effectively, all the perks of a Class A with all the benefits of a Class D. Now, does it actually do that? That's something we'll come on to later in the video. Continuing on with the analog-centric theme of the 280, it does also include a built-in moving magnet phono stage. Now, I do think if you're someone that's looking for peak performance and you've got a really high-end system, you could definitely go out there and get an improved separate phono stage and get a little bit more performance out of your system as a whole. But with that being said, if you want to reduce a box, you know, the phono stage that's built into it is pretty solid. You know, you're going to get good performance out of it, but still, again, if you're looking to upgrade and get absolute maximum performance, it's definitely something that you could improve on. The 280 actually has no digital usability whatsoever as it comes out of the box. There's no streaming built in, there's no Bluetooth connectivity, nothing like that whatsoever. But if you did want to add that into the system, there are a decent amount of inputs to be able to do so. You've got 3 unbalanced ones, one set of balanced as well as the phono stage connection that I've just mentioned, and also a sub out on top of that as well. And what that essentially means is that you've got a £3,000 analog based integrated amplifier that, compared to some of the competition, is very, very feature poor. So what exactly do you get from the HiFi Rose? Why would you purchase this instead of, for example, a Yamaha unit, which is possibly even a bit cheaper right now? I think something like the AS1200, and gives you on paper so much more flexibility and so many more options. Well, firstly, when it came to listening to the 280, we paired it up with the HiFi Rose streamer to go alongside it for the majority of our listening, and also the PMC 2526i speakers, and they made a wonderful, wonderful system. Now, what this gives you that other speakers don't is a really unique characteristic in terms of the way that it sounds. That Class AD sound that HiFi Rose have labelled it really is something that I don't think I've ever really heard before, because you do have all of that power and control and smooth delivery that you expect from a Class D amp, you know, tons of it, spades of it, but you do get a lot more detail than I've ever really heard before in what is technically, again, a Class D system. It's got a real sparkle to it, and what helps that is the fact that you can obviously slightly adjust that with the tone controls on the front, which I actually found to be really, really effective. It is interesting because the PMCs are a speaker that by nature are very detailed, are very analytical. They're a very studio-like speaker in my opinion. So the HiFi Rose partnered with those was actually a really well-balanced system, and I do think because of the spades of power that you get from the HiFi Rose, it really made the PMCs able to achieve a great sound at just relative ease. The control was absolutely incredible, and while they've got this Class AD sound, do I think they sounded as detailed as they would with a Class A amplifier? No. But I also think they sound a lot closer to that than you would normally expect from a Class D. It's almost like somewhere in the middle of the two. The tone controls were actually really effective as well. I watched someone else's video on these on the system just to get their thoughts as well after I'd listened to them, to see if kind of I was matching up with what other people thought. And somebody mentioned the fact that the tone controls, when you increase the bass, it's not just as simple as making them more punchy. It added a lot more richness and depth, and I completely agree with that. Really, really effective on that front. It really is an interesting case because at the £3,000 price point, you've got units that are a little bit less than that actually. The Yamaha AS1200, wonderful, wonderful amplifier, far more features, you know, compared to the HiFi Rose here. So why would you ever go for the HiFi Rose? Well, it's just unique. The design is just so out there, and I think that will really appeal to some people and then maybe put some people off. Secondly, that AD sound signature is just super, super unique and not something else that I think is really replicated by anyone. It sort of feels like the HiFi Rose is in its own lane on the market, and I think it really will appeal to those people that have got a separate style system, because I can't think of many cases where people are going to have just this and a pair of speakers and a turntable. You know, most people want some sort of wireless connectivity or a CD player or something else for their listening. So I think the people that go for this are going to be kind of the analog purists, where they're going to be adding on a CD player, they're going to be adding on a streamer, as we did with the HiFi Rose streamer that we used for our listening. So it is a very, very unique case, but I do think there is a place out there for a product like this, because there are people out there that just love having spades of power, that wonderful Class A sound that it doesn't quite give you, but it's a nice hi-fi house with the AD control as well, and it's just a super cool product. There's just nobody out there that really seems to be operating in the same way that HiFi Rose are at the moment, or at least not anybody that I've had the chance to listen to. So I was super, super impressed with the 280, but I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you a fan of this quirky design? Are you a fan of this Class AD sound? Would love to hear your input in the comments down below. Again, thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. Always massively, massively appreciated. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekends, and we'll see you all in the next video.